What is up, guys? Wraith here, Gray Bearded Gaming Society. We are at it again, trying to wrap up this last little bit of this level here and pick up level 16. We've shown quite a few of the videos in this level range where we've gone through the Oasis of Mar. We've been battling luggage now for a couple of days. Of course, we tried the NyBrights sisters early. We also went out and picked on Misty Story Swapper, of course. Pretty good experience out there. Decent amount of loot, but and that's where most of our platinum came from, of course. Pretty good experience out here. However, the cash is just really not that much at all. We talked in the last time about, selling the stacks of meat. We pretty much get next to nothing. There was really nothing to really even of note with the one rune that we did get. We are having really good luck now against the deep water caimans. They are pretty much par for the course. Nice easy pull. The much larger still deep water crocodiles are still pretty much off limits. Those guys are still coming in red. We tried one of those guys. It did not go well at all. We will keep it a little bit more on the safer side here. Like I said, we are really close to level in the 90th percentile, I would say. 98 percentile. So we're, really close. Banging out this last little bit where we kind of put a cap on kind of this level range, right? I mean, a lot of levels, and early on kind of get broken down into fours. And it's not so much, or not in every case, to do with the pet. Obviously, really early, it's 1, it's 4, it's 8, you get, the pets, and it's a really big deal. But then you start running into the levels, of course, where the pet stays smaller than you. He's not going to be some, magnanimous tank that's just going to handle the world for you. That stuff, it wears off kind of early. But what you do run into, of course, is quite a bit of just the class-defining spells, and that's what we are in the hunt for right now, yet again, because, of course, at level 16, we get our grubby little paws on Feign Death. And as far as get-out-of-jail cards go, that is a really good one. It will take quite a bit of practice to get it right, because it's not a skill set that I think we've really used hardly at all at this point. I believe it's definition. We'll know when we memorize it here in a few minutes. Of course, we'll practice that off camera because nobody wants to see that fizzle, fuzzle festival happening. But the other thing, we do get a new pet, which would be nice. Strengthen up just a little bit, gives us a little bit more leadway. Like I said, old Verhonor here he has done us proud. He's done a great job, but he will take an absolute beating, even against this walking luggage. There is the level. We just got our first level of research. Deepwater caimans randomly turned blue. This guy turned yellow. Still level 19, means he's 3 levels higher than us. Maybe we'll try one right before we get out of here. That's the first one I've seen that hasn't been red. I'm sure he'll be red by the time, or walked off, I should say, by the time we've meditated up. But mostly in this level range, what we're after, as I started the save for, I let myself get off course again to go for the old spell book here, is Feign Death. This guy will be our get out of jail free card. And actually, I was incorrect. It's not divination, it's actually abjuration, so we're not horrible. We can practice that one a little bit easier. Ridiculously classic spell. Monks get it as a skill, of course. Necros get it as a spell. Shadow Knights get it much later as a spell. Obviously you can't hammer the thing off non-stop because it is on a pretty long cooldown, as you can see, just getting it to refresh here. But if the spell goes off and everything goes to plan, no matter how bad your pull was, you have a much higher probability of actually walking out still in one piece. Now, obviously, nothing's guaranteed. One of the things that has pretty much always been, I don't think is going to change, which when you're messing around with some of the casters, if they're casting while you're trying to feign death, of course, you can have some pretty bad problems there because the nukes will hit you after the fact. At the same time, let's move this one over to right about here. Be on this stuff. And of course, if you start casting a spell, you feign death, you're great, but the nuke continues, it hits you. It's like, hey, I still hate you, and it'll come over and dump you anyway. So some timing is still involved. It's not always a guaranteed win, but in most cases, it's still a lot safer than a lot of other options. Running for the zone, tanking, trailing through other things, or just hitting the old gate button and totally losing your camp. Now, we have Feign Death memorized. We've got a new pet. We do have a new shielding spell, which will buff us up a little bit. Again, you know, nothing spectacular in that front. Little armor class, little extra hit points, which of course, again, for us, we're turning into mana as fast as we can. So we're going to need some practice as we're fizzling that right out of the gate. But, so in this level range, what are we looking to do? What are we looking to accomplish? First things first, I believe we're going to, you know, sit down, we're going to med, pad the experience bar a little bit before we leave, because we know we're relatively safe in this area. You know, one of the things that we need to really keep tabs on is the balance between making some cash and making some experience, right? You know, we're not really in a hurry. We want to make sure we can afford the spells, come across some stuff. You know, we're going to try it as we get a little bigger, try to do some farming. But if a couple things come up that might be pretty good upgrades, we'll try to keep tabs on it, see if we can't, you know, maybe buy a couple things here and there. We'll see what happens. Again, just by virtue where the server is in its lifespan, things in the Bazaar have generally gotten to the point where they're more expensive than they are useful in some ranges, so we'll see. But some of the things we definitely want to do, you know, we definitely want to check out some Kern's Tower action. It's just a Necro's playground, and in the 16 to 20 bracket, as you can see, it's already memorized it a second ago. We've got Ward Undead. There's not going to be tons of damage. We have a new one of those coming up soon-ish. Numb the Dead, I don't really think we'll need it, but if we need for pulling, we can try that out. But then you have Hungry Earth. So we have our first root spell. It only works on undead. It doesn't have a super long hold, it'll about 48 seconds, but in some cases that's still enough. It actually gives us the opportunity, if we need, where we can actually root rot undead things. So in Kern's Tower, we can just plant a skeleton to the ground, apply the dots, sit there, smile and wave as he melts into the floorboards. And we'll see how that goes. One of the other good things, of course, in this range, we're talking 16 to 20-ish, is we will get our first undead charm spell, I believe at 17 or 18, so we could mess around with some of that, do some testing. Again, Kern's Tower, see how it goes. For anybody who played Enchanters back in the day, of course, a charmed pet is typically much more powerful than any summoned pet that you're going to get. So long for Rarer, Verer, whatever your name was. You did a great job. Time to go away. Let's cast a new skeleton here. But yeah, so it's definitely some Kern's Tower action. You know, check out some ways to kill the undead. Maybe we check out some charm action, see how that goes, a nice early level. You know, the other thing we're going to do, more than likely, is go back over to Lesser Feydark and beat up on the NyBrights sisters, because, one, I don't remember them having the kind of aggro we had when we made our video before. Kind of not happy with the results, so we got beaten up quite as bad as we did. So we'll try to break that again, see if our new pet can handle the break a little bit easier. And at the same time, just for my own knowledge, right? Because, again, I remembered from a very long time ago that those guys, you know, they could drop bronze, you could bankroll some cash off of them. It was a great spot to be. Very contested camp forever and ever ago. You know, these days, I don't think most people, you know, ever really get out there, so I think it could be a good time. We'll check it out, see what we can get, obviously on the camera, and you know, see how this new pet here does. He came out even to me, which is nice. So he will be able to beat up some of this. We'll get our little buff on him. I'm going to send him just right after Cayman, right off, just by himself, kind of see how he does. I mean, I think he's going to pull ahead. As Cayman are the smallest things out here, but we are going to pad our experience a little bit. We're going to do some fighting. We are going to do a little bit of traveling this level. We might try to sneak back into Befall and see how we do there. And again, you know, I've said it before a couple times. You know, if you guys can think of something else in the level range that could be worth doing, could be a fun adventure, we'll give that a shot. One of the things that we're trying to kind of keep an eye on, trying to do a little homework on the side, on top of, you know, any ideas that people might have of things that we can do on our own to kind of, you know, get some gear for our character. So a couple things, you know, come to mind relatively quickly. We're not quite level-wise yet to be able to try it out, but you've got some camps in Upper Guck that they're going to be a challenge. We're still multiple levels off of being able to handle them on our own. I'll put it that way. But we're already eyeballing some of those things. You got some camps in Upper Guck where we have the potential to get, you know, a few pieces of items here or there, like bracelets of woven grass. We're relatively easy to get if you could break the room and hold it. You know, get on the little enchanter guy before he get his buffs up was the big deal. And that one's a nice one for us. You know, some intelligence, some hit points, things like that. And the other things that we're going to try to look at the same time is, I remember, like the Gorge of King Zorb, I believe is how you pronounce it, had some evil eyes in that guy, and they would drop. It's a different kind of bracer, still a pretty good bracer. polished bone, I believe it was. So we'll, again, trying to do some homework. And again, right back into Befallen. Down at the bottom of Befallen, you had a dropped, I believe it was the Dagger of Marnek from some casters down at the bottom. They had a chance to drop some armor. Another one that somebody brought up. I wish they would have commented on the channel instead of just talking to me in person. But there is also Najena. I don't believe we've mentioned that one yet. But Najena is another one we'll probably have to go off a little bit, right? We're going to have to go with these things once we're slightly above level, just because as we saw him Befallen the first time around, one-on-one's no problem. 2-on-1 in some cases is not a big deal, but it's so easy in the dungeons to just get swarmed under so fast. There's no point in just slamming your head into a brick wall and dying constantly, right? So we want to make sure that we're out there and we're getting, some experience. We're getting the mission accomplished that we're trying to accomplish, having a good time, and not just dying repeatedly and, flinging ourselves at a brick wall. So I'm going to pad the experience bar here. We're going to lay down a plan, somewhere we're going to go. We might go back to NyBrights here pretty quick just to see how we do with the newer pet, see if he can take the beating just a little bit more. I mean, maybe we swing through, just for the test, maybe we swing through Planet Knowledge real fast, maybe pick up some buffs, see if we can beef him up a little bit more to help us on our adventure. Again, mostly just to kind of see, because I'm curious how it's going to work out. But, we've, again, a couple things in mind, a couple places to check out, and, if anything else comes, you guys can think of again instead of before, say it again, post it down below, right? Even if you don't want to subscribe, that's fine. I know we're a little channel. Something comes up, have at it. Post down below. We'll check it out. But we're going to pad the experience bar here a little bit first to keep us safe. And then we will be back and traveling and trying to break up the NyBrights sisters and see if we can get ourselves a bronze machine, basically. Be back in a bit, guys. Alright guys, we are back in Lesser Fadark. We are back at the camp of the NyBrights sisters. We might have a small episode of Return of the Necro going on here. As you can see, they're still not KOS'd them, so we can still kind of creep around and see what they got. At this point, they are all blue to us. Again, they're conning. It's about in the 11 range, 14 on that one. So I mean, a pretty wide range. We're gonna get back. We're gonna see how we can do. We're gonna try to remember some of our other tools this time around, because of course one of the things that we can do is if things get too ridiculous is we can always do a feigned death pull, try to split them up. But again, some of it is for a little bit of seeing if I was still correct and if they can still drop bronze and turn into a cash machine. And at the same time, we don't hold a grudge or anything here at this channel, so we're not here just to beat them up because they beat us up. We wouldn't dream of doing such a thing, would we? Of course we would. Alright, so we're still getting 2. And a Fizzle Fart our spell here. Naturally. So let's move him on the one who's not snared. We're going to make friends all over the place just to make life more amusing. We have resist all over the place, which are not going to help the cause. So she is snared. We're going to get the fear on her. Because they're going out the way. Just to give the pet a breather. We're going to get a dot on her. To accelerate her expiration rate. We're going to run low on mana pretty quick, trying to fight multiples at a time. That is nothing new. Notice suddenly we have like a lot more action. We've got like orcs wandering through here. Of course, the pesky little skeleton, he's just going to make a nuisance of himself. We're not going to waste a lot of mana on him. So we got Rusty Dagger, which is trash. Rusty Short Sword, which is trash. Another skeleton is down. Pretty bad when the skeleton splintering club is worth more than... Ooh, look at that. He wants to eat us for breakfast. If I'm not mistaken, that is for... Well, I know what that one's for. An epic. Alright. So, she dropped a couple pieces of loot. What do we got here? So we do have a bronze rapier. A little bit of bronze there. Rusty junk. And rusty junk. We still have not lost enough faction to be KOS yet. We know that we're going to get 2. We need to get our pact rolling quick. Try to get our mana back quick. Because, of course, fighting 2 at a time, drain the mana really fast. So let's see if we can actually get this camp broken up. The pet did okay. As I said, I jumped through POK real quick, did a couple things, did grab my spells for the next couple levels. So we now have our spells to roll for a few levels here, so we don't have to worry about that. Did pick up some buffs just to make the traveling a little bit easier. Spirit of the Wolf for me and the pet. We did get Druid buffs. We got Skin Like Diamond. So nothing crazy, nothing too insane. It's not like Temperance, which of course is just an awesome buff. You can get it, grab it. We got Skin Like Diamond. I got Regeneration on myself. He Druid cast that on me, and it kind of offsets my mana spell, which is nice. But for the pet, we have my buff, Focus Death, Spirit of the Wolf, and then Skin Like Diamond. I specifically said, or asked, rather, I was like, hey, don't use Thorns. Trying to get a feel for what kind of, what we can do on our own without having, a higher level Druid Thorn buff just kind of wreck through everything. Maybe could have used it to help break, but it's like, nah, let's do it this way. Give these little daggers to this dude. So you do a little bit of damage. We have 1 piece of bronze to speak of so far. So I guess it's better than last time where we got a couple kills and had not much to show for it at all. Trying to sit down, keep our buffs rolling. Hoping we know we're going to get 2 just based on when everything else is gone. We need to know that we have enough mana to deal with it. Keeping tabs. I don't remember which one of the sisters we killed first. So... we'll see which one spawns. As soon as we hit one, we'll probably run back kind of in the other direction. Actually, for that matter, if we go ahead and try to set up shop now back here, in a back hitherly direction, and we'll tell our pet to guard here, which will keep him from running up. I thought about trying to do the feign death trick on the last pull, but of course with the pet right there, as soon as I got hit, he's going to start swinging. This will give us a little bit of space, hopefully. One of the other things, of course, that we are looking forward to in this range, it's in my little bag of goodies in here somewhere, is we'll get the upgrade to our health to mana spell, which will be awesome. Allure of Death, so level 18, couple levels in, we'll get that, which will help us convert mana a little bit faster, so reduce some more of the downtime, especially in situations like this, where we make ourselves... very well know. What is that? Over yonder. Another orc centurion, useless. Okie dokie. So, let's keep this going. So what we're going to try to do... it doesn't look like anybody's up yet. We're going to grab her. We're going to get out of range. We're going to throw the snare. It's going to get both of them, like we thought. But if this goes right, we're going to feign death. Kablow. Now... if we let this one here in the front, who does not have any kind of debuff on her, if she breaks, if they forget about us and she tosses off, then she'll go all the way home and get out of our way. But this one, with the dot on her, should... apparently I am incorrect. As soon as I stand up... yep. Even with the dot. As soon as she's going to aggro, she's going to bring her sister. So we're going to put the pet on this girl. She does have the snare. We will re-snare her and just send her off into oblivion. Little fear. Have a nice trip. We'll be over here if you need us. Keep a dot on her to keep her company. The pet working on this one and actually working her over pretty fast. Let's not waste enough mana for a big heat blood. The pet is rocking her, so we're not even going to catch up on this one here. So we'll just do a little bit. What do we got? A dull pearl necklace. Another quest item's worth approximately nothing. That might have been another rusty short sword. This one might have been, don't want that, so we'll drop that. Rusty and rusty. So we're not doing great in the loot departments. It's too bad. I was really hoping we turn this into a cash machine. Granted, we only did one round, but I mean, right now we're looking at one piece of bronze, 25% drop rate on the first round, knowing that they always drop that other trash. And again, at the same time, both these guys are back up. Can we even get one without the other? If we start on this one over here and split her out, yeah, her sister's still going to come. So I mean, their aggro range is just really far afield. So we'll put the pet on this one. You are going to take a ride off into the darkness on your own. Have a nice walk. Have this to keep you company so you don't get cold. Tell you what, we'll just put them both on there. You have a good time over there by yourself. And this girl, of course, the pet's wearing her out. So again, it's one of those things. We are definitely getting our revenge. No question there. It just might not be as worthwhile as it used to be. Like I said, it's one of those things, you know, some of the live servers, you know, some of the things have changed. And even on the newer, you know, TLP servers, you know, you're not going to get always that classic experience. So it might be a little different. Like I said, if you're doing like a P99 or something like that, or the TLP is not here yet, you might get that older thing. She's about to kick the bucket. Yeah, Dots take care of her. No, we're going to work on it. So we get like a free thing of beer. We don't need that. Another rusty dagger, another rusty short sword, another rusty dagger, another rusty short sword. So basically a whole pile of El Garbo. So it's probably not really going to be all that worthwhile killing them. Unfortunately, they're just kind of going to weigh us down. Yeah, let's have a drink of beer. That was refreshing. Alcohol tolerance of 1. Let's get on our long path to becoming a lush. But it doesn't look, I mean, even now that we're a little bigger and we can handle them, you know, they are blue. We've killed 6 of them now, right? All around the 4, 2 more spawn. We killed them. We came in with right about 10% experience. We padded the level up to about 10, maybe 10 to 12 range, maybe. So, I mean, you know, getting about 1% experience a kill. However, you know, if you're looking for pure experience, you'll beat that elsewhere. And so far, at least, you're actually going to do better. You're going to do better on money-wise beating up bards than you are going to do beating up these guys. We'll give it a couple more kills to see how we do, but you know, don't want to drag it out too far. If anything spectacular happens, I'll bring it up in the next video. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, some of the things we're looking to do this time around, we have got our revenge on the NyBrights sisters. They have all fallen to us and to our imaginary friend. We're definitely going to hit up Kern's Tower, see what kind of trouble we can get into there. We might go digging around a little more on the other side of the Oasis of Mar and see if in this newfound design that they had, if the Orc Highway is still there. There used to be one side of the Orc Highway, really hilly, you know, slightly single pulling orcs, I should say. There's not quite as many of them, so you could safely be off to one side. We'll kind of see, you know, what that action out there can be about. Some potential, maybe for lower Guck. I mean, I'll do a little homework and check on that one again. With the dungeons, you kind of run into different things. We could definitely poke around a little bit more into Befallen, maybe get onto the second floor, kind of see how that goes. But until next time, I hope everybody has a great night like I did here. Again, if you think of any other places to visit, to experiment, to attack, to have a good adventure in, leave it in the comment section down below. I'll definitely check them out, and we can try to go there and see what kind of trouble we can get into. But with that, hope everybody does have a good night, and we will see you guys next time.